Pete Hegseth has spent just about every waking moment of his tenure as Secretary of Defense focused on making sure that every member of the service is a few key things. First of all, a man. He'd really prefer if you're all men. Legally, he can't get rid of the women yet. He's working on it. But for now, you should really be a man. And not just a man. He would really love it if you were a white man. Again, legally, he can't get rid of the others. But he's figured out some stuff with like the facial hair and everything. So ideally, he'd like white men, but not any white men. He wants you to be really hot. Not just hot, but cut, lean, really trim. He wants abs. He wants like the V cut. And so it probably really bothered him when this image came out. It's members of the Texas National Guard being deployed to invade Chicago, and he evidently lost it. Now, when that image came out, I didn't love some of the online commentary. I know I'm being Buzz Killington, where everybody's like, hey, look at those fatties or whatever. Because like the thing about it is, those soldiers do not have, and this is very important, they don't have a choice, right? They're National Guard. It's not a volunteer position. They're signed on for a contract. If they don't go, I'm pretty sure, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think they can actually be locked up. Like, this is not the same thing as ICE. There are people signing up to ICE right now to get paid so they can beat brown and black people all over the nation. Like, that's a choice that they're making. These are just former military members who wanted to serve in the National Guard, and now they're being sent there. And I agree, I don't want to see them there. But what I don't want to see about them being there is not like a big waistline. That's the least of my concerns when it comes to the National Guard. But it was notably the most important concern to Pete Hegseth, because evidently they're being replaced. So they are blinking. Pete Hegseth is now blinking, but only on the fatties, I suppose. You can't have, cake. You can't have junk in the trunk. We'll invade America, but we want to make sure that it's hotties that are doing this. And he reposted that article that I just showed you with standards are back at the Department of War. I think he means the Department of Defense. He seems very confused about the bureaucracy that he actually works for. He might actually be drunk, maybe confused and drunk, I'm not sure. But he did actually get rid of them. They're gone. He said, remember, in his big speech, his big boy speech, that looking at fat troops tires him. I don't think he means physically tires him. I think he means like mentally tires him. I guess it's more of a mental strain for him to maintain his erection if he's looking at heavier troops or something. I don't know, it's his words. We're all just trying to understand what it is that he means and why he cares so much about the affability of his soldiers, but it is the most important thing to him. And so how did this happen? How did they send these heavier troops despite Pete Hegseth being so focused on appearance? Well, they put out a message saying in less than 24 hours, Texas National Guardsmen mobilized for the federal protection mission. The speed of the response necessitated a concurrent validation process during which we identified a small group of service members who were not in compliance and have been replaced. So normally, they would look at each one of them, they'd like measure their waist, and then they'd send them. But it was such an emergency that they had to check into them after they were dispatched. Except like, was it? Like, you didn't need to send them at all. Like maybe don't invade a new city literally every week, and then you can spend more of your time making sure that no big boned individuals slip by your heightened standards. And I just think like the only point I really want to make about this is he is so worried about image and what image is being sent. But think about it. He doesn't have a problem with now the normalization of troops in multiple US cities, helping, like standing by with assault rifles as ICE members of ICE and Border Patrol and DHS brutalize people, brutalize American citizens, zip tie naked kids on the streets. That's not the bad image. The bad image would be if that brutality was being perpetrated by a heavy guy. Like that's the thing that actually bothers. Fascism is fine, but not fat fascism. Again, we want it to be lean. Washboard fascism is very much in vogue under the Trump regime.